If you were to write a book about Zacchaeus, I think an appropriate title would be From Curiosity to Conversion. So let's look at this man, Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is not really a religious man. He has cast his lot in with the Romans. He's gotten rich off the back of his own people. He enjoys an extravagant lifestyle, which in many ways is all supported through this blood money that he's gotten rich through extortion and taken advantage of his fellow countrymen. You know, he is not just any tax collector, says he is the chief tax collector for the city of Jericho. Elon Musk now calls himself the chief twit. So Zacchaeus, I guess we call him the chief thief. He is no doubt living only for today and has surrounded himself with others just like him. Now, by the time Jesus comes to Jericho, he's already built up quite a reputation. Jesus has attracted a large following. People can't stop talking about his amazing preaching. Many people have even claimed to have received miraculous cures. The blind can see, the deaf hear, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed. Some people are even claiming that Jesus has the power to raise the dead. No doubt, many people are now claiming that Jesus may even be the long-awaited Messiah. Now, if that's true, then the liberation of Israel is at hand. A new golden age is on the horizon. Zacchaeus, no doubt, had heard about Jesus and probably, more than likely, was somewhat curious to see him, maybe even hear him speak. Perhaps he might even see for himself if Jesus of Nazareth, if this Jesus of Nazareth could indeed work miracles. So Zacchaeus decides to go and see for himself. Really, he goes out of curiosity. Now, apparently, Zacchaeus was not the only resident of Jericho curious to see Jesus. In all likelihood, the size of the large crowd waiting to see Jesus probably surprised Zacchaeus. As the Gospels indicate, he couldn't see anything because he was short. Kind of like when children sit in the very back of the church. They can't see anything. So seizing the initiative, Zacchaeus climbs a tree to see Jesus. Then something remarkable happens. Of all the people that Jesus could have stopped and spoken with, Jesus stops and tells Zacchaeus to come down from that tree. Now notice that Jesus does not say to him, "Hey, shorty, what's your story?" In fact, Jesus already knows his story. He knows the choices that Zacchaeus has made in his life. He knows the kind of person that he is. He, of course, knows what others think about Zacchaeus as well. But there's something more than just that. When Jesus sees Zacchaeus up in the sycamore tree, he saw something far more important than just a rich, short guy angling for a better view. Jesus saw into his heart. He saw that Zacchaeus himself knew that something was missing from his life. Jesus knew Zacchaeus came searching for something after all. Why was he there? I mean, Zacchaeus could have easily just stayed home that day in his big, comfortable house. He could have simply gone about his business as usual. More to the point, Zacchaeus could have easily turned around and gone home when he saw the size of the crowd. But despite his material success, Zacchaeus was not fulfilled. He goes to see Jesus, hoping for more. Maybe he thought to himself, I wonder if this Jesus will have the answers that I'm looking for. Maybe this Jesus will help me find real meaning in life. Maybe this Jesus will finally give me a sense of peace. Jesus peers into the heart of Zacchaeus and sees a longing that is there. That's why he calls Zacchaeus down. Jesus is able to see past Zacchaeus' external trappings, past his sins, past his bad choices, past his immoral lifestyle. Jesus sees a heart longing for so much more. Does Jesus not see the same thing in our hearts as well? After all, you're all here this morning in search of something more. Jesus sees past our own physical and mental limitations. He sees past our material possessions and any worldly success we may have achieved. He even sees past our own sins. Like Zacchaeus, Jesus calls us to conversion as well. He sees past those limitations and sins, for he looks into your very heart. He loves you. He desires to be with you, and you with him. It's quite striking that Zacchaeus makes a sudden change of heart before Jesus even has the chance really to say much to him at all. Jesus had barely told him that he wanted to stay at his home, and almost immediately Zacchaeus makes a commitment to give back his ill-gotten gains and to give to the poor. How did this happen? Well, probably for the first time in his life, Zacchaeus encountered pure love. The love of God. That love of God liberates him from his possessions, from his status, from his state in life, from his disordered relationships, from his sins. Jesus offers Zacchaeus something far more than all his wealth could buy. So Zacchaeus seizes the opportunity to become the person that God had been calling him to be all along. Zacchaeus has not become a new man, but rather the man God always intended him to be. God is calling you too. The Lord wants to come and stay with you. He's knocking at the door of your heart. He's knocking at the door of your heart. Will you let him in? Will you open your heart to him? Are you willing to make the changes that you know you need to make? By every external standard, before Zacchaeus met Jesus, he was rich. Yet within his heart, he suffered the immense poverty that comes from not living in right relationship with God. He probably had tried to surround himself with various luxuries and pleasures so as to convince himself that he's really not missing out on anything. But Jesus beckons Zacchaeus in love, and Zacchaeus has this complete change of heart. The things that he had put so much value in before have lost their meaning. And instead of settling for the wealth of this world, he chooses that wealth that is indeed eternal. Zacchaeus' story is a story of conversion, a story of great hope, for salvation does indeed come to Zacchaeus. He changes the course of his life from certain death to life that is eternal. That is the story of Zacchaeus. But what about you? What is your story now? More importantly, well, what will it be from now on? And how will that story end?